I'm Bill and I'm glad you're here. Let's put together this sliding ladybug robot. We first open the package. It's a paper label that holds it closed, so sometimes our fingers are enough, and if that's not enough, you can use a key or a coin. Inside we have an instruction book and 2-part organizer sheets. Here's the booklet. Here are the organizer sheets. They have pictures of all the parts, and we lay them on our work surface, and that gives us a place to put the parts as we unpack them. Now we're done with this bag. Don't need the padding material. Here's a bag of tools. We open that up, and inside is an envelope with a battery. We find the place for the battery on the organizer, and then we can discard the envelope. There's a piece of sandpaper that we'll use pretty soon for the plastic parts. A pair of diagonal cutters that we'll also use on the plastic parts soon. A pencil that we'll use to check off our progress. And now we can discard that bag. And last, here is the Sliding Ladybug robot kit. Now we're done with this box. Opening up the kit, inside we find a plastic bag with plastic molded parts, another plastic bag with lots of different stuff, and under this flap there are a few flat printed items. One is a sheet of caution notices in many different languages. It's kind of dull reading, but we do want to be careful, so let's be careful. Here we have a sheet that unfolds to give us assembly drawings, 3 on this side and another 3 on the other side. We'll set that over here for now. This box is empty, so we can discard it. And the stickers. Those go on this parts organizer here. Now first let's open up this bag that has the plastic molded parts. It has a couple of staples holding it closed. So we pull them apart. And here's the body of the ladybug in one plastic piece. And 4 or 5 of the other pieces are all together in this molded tree. And we're going to work on those first. So let's discard that bag. Now, we take our side cutters to separate the plastic parts from the injection molding extra plastic that's still there. The side cutters, when you hold them closed, have one side that's fairly smooth and the other side dips in quite a bit. You want to hold the smooth side against the part when you make the cut, and that way the little leftover bit of plastic after the cut is pretty small, and we're going to sand it off when we get done. So we discard that bit of extra plastic, and we keep the body out here because we're going to sand these parts before we put them over in the organizer. Here is the flywheel. It's attached in 2 places, so we cut one, then we cut the other, lay that on the table. This piece here is the retainer. It holds the battery in the battery case. That's just one attachment, so we cut that and lay it down. This bigger piece here is the motor cover, and it's attached in 3 places. Here, and here, and here. Lay that down. And then these 2 circles are the ladybug eyes. each one of them needs a single snip. Now this is just leftover injection molding plastic that's no good to us for anything, so we discard that. Now we take our sandpaper, lay it down on the work surface with the sand facing up, and we find the place on each part where we made the cut, and you can feel it. It's a bit rough, so we simply put that rough part down on the sandpaper and rub it back and forth a little bit, and then you can feel it with your finger as you go along. You'll find that it gets smoother and smoother, and pretty soon it's smooth enough, and that part is done. We put it on the organizer. Here's the retainer that has that one place where it was attached. We sand that a bit, maybe a little bit more. And it's smooth, and we find its place on the organizer. The flywheel has two places where we cut, so we sand them both, smooth them off. There's the other one. A little bit more there. Okay, they don't have to be perfect, but it's nice if they don't have that rough little jagged part going out. So there, that's one eye smoothed. This one was pretty smooth to begin with. There. And last, this motor cover. These two plate cuts can go down at the same time because they're on the same plane. So we can get those together, and they're nice and smooth. Then this one over in this corner, you can't just lay down on the sandpaper because there are these other features of the plastic in the way. So you move the sandpaper to the edge of your work surface, and then you can get that cut place on the edge of the sandpaper. And since we don't need to do very much sanding here, just to get it fairly smooth, that's fine. And that goes right there on the organizer. Now we're going to keep the sandpaper and the cutters handy because there's one more plastic part in this bag. But let's open up this bag now. And empty it out. And we can discard this bag and the staples. Here's the screwdriver in that bag. We'll set it over here with the pencil. Here's the battery case. Even though that's a plastic part, it doesn't come attached to extra plastic, so it's ready to go right out of the bag. Here are 3 legs, these little wire fellas here, and we'll put those in their place on the organizer to get them out of the way. And then before we open these bags, this piece here is the terminal cover plastic piece in the middle, and then a whole bunch of extra plastic surrounding it. So we cut that piece free. Oop. We discard this extra. Put the cutters over here for now. We won't need them until it's time to cut the tubing later. Then we're going to sand this part smooth where we cut it. Put it on the organizer on top of its picture. We're now done with the sandpaper. We could throw it away or keep it around. It's perfectly good sandpaper. Now we open up this little bag that has lots and lots of little parts in it. Discard the bag. Here we have a piece of rubber tubing. Put it on the organizer. We have the negative battery terminal is this sort of V-shaped piece. The positive battery terminal is this flat piece that has a large round bump in the middle and is bent on one edge. Then there are two sort of L-shaped pieces here. These are the outer terminals for the battery, and they go there. Now we have screws. There are 8 large screws. They're black colored here. There are 5 medium screws, and they're silver colored. And then there's a small machine screw with a nut. It's also silver colored, not exactly the same, but close. But you have to be careful not to mix this one up with these guys because it's a different kind of thread. This one goes with this nut, and these 5 go with each other. These are the medium screws. So we put them in the medium screw place on the organizer. This small screw and nut, I have to slide it to the edge to pick it up. My fingers are too big and fat to pick it up straight from the table. And then the large screws go here on the organizer. And then the last piece in this last plastic bag is the motor and the switch, which are already wired together, and they just come out of the bag. No preparation needed for those. We just put it on the organizer, discard the bag. The instruction book on this page here has an inventory checklist and pictures of all the parts and their names. And so it's a good idea just to go through it and make sure that we didn't miss anything. So we have 2 part organizer sheets, check. 1 piece of sandpaper, 1 pair of side cutters, 1 pencil, 1 battery, the Sliding Ladybug robot kit, and in that is a body, the motor cover, the battery case, the 2 eyes, the motor and switch, the flywheel, 3 legs, the positive terminal, the negative terminal, 2 outer terminals, 1 terminal cover, the retainer, the piece of tubing, 8 large screws, 5 medium screws, 1 small screw with nut, 1 sticker sheet, the assembly drawing sheet, and the screwdriver. We're all checked off. All the parts are ready to go. So now it's time to put this together. AstuteKidDotCom